too big a word. That's like mayonnaise. I'm sure that's the biggest word I know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome on into the Blitz NFL player props for Week 17. We're here, man. 2 more weeks in the regular season, and then it's on to the playoffs, Derek. Derek Carty, everybody, you know him, you love him, and we've certainly been having a good season so far, Derek. I know people have been loving the Blitz projections. We're on a 2-week slide on the show, but overall, speaking personally, profitable last several weeks, especially.
Yeah, no, especially since midseason, I've been doing very well. Overall results for the year have been quite good. I'm happy with it. I know most subscribers have been, so we have one troll in chat, I think, but that's okay. Looking forward to another good week.
I mean, yeah, it is going to be another great week. Really looking forward to it. And like we said, chat's already going off. Carty definitely feels like he was a Frosted Tips guy back in the day. I mean,
not for me.
Let me tell you, the biggest problem, a movie that has aged terribly today is The Matrix. Because if you were to pull me out of a pod and be like, one pill, you see everything and you're part of the resistance, the other pill, you go back to a simulation of the 90s forever, I'm saying frost my tips and send me in. I don't want any part of this. Put me back in the 90s. Oh, man. Great movie. Bro KGB also laughing at the frosted tips. Crazy Carl was the one who was saying, not sure if Derek can pull off the Burrow look, though. I thought it looked.
I don't know. I look at the graphic. I feel like I could pull it off if I had to.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
And Burrow has improved. Burrow's hair game has improved from the beginning of the season. Dude was looking a little too much like Ellen DeGeneres there at the start of the year. It wasn't the right look, but he has come around with the swag. That is for sure. All right. Let's get into it for the day. Bro KGB saying, makes me think TV was a big Ed Hardy guy back in the day. No, this was my uniform, not the Syracuse logo, but literally every day in high school, I wore like track pants and Under Armour. That was it for me. So some things do not change. All right. We've got a great slate today, but of course, let's still talk a little bit about last week and about not our best again. 4-5, down 1.36 units, but we're still up 8.73 on the entire season here. And we did have a couple bad beats there. I'm pretty sure Caleb Williams, I feel like, was one of the ones that was close. Cooper Rush was easy. Breece Hall, we got blown out of the water there. Amari Cooper, we won that one. I don't think he was even targeted. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he was good for the pick. We laid the heavy juice. It worked out in our favor there. And let's see, we have Bryce Young, surprising amount of carries. Matt Stafford did not rush, and Jameson Williams just torched us.
Yeah, that one didn't work out. Bijan made it by like, I think 2 or 3 yards. We saw a good amount of Algier, which was kind of the angle anyway, but it happens. I think we got some good stuff this week.
Yeah. Caleb reaching 2020 CMC levels of junk time stats this year. Well, he didn't this week. this past Thursday, certainly not. But I know that I had a couple. I had a couple props this weekend, previous weekend, that were like right there on the cusp. We hit some, we lost some, but it was another good week. And we've got a lot more stuff this week. As Jessica Brand pointed out, I still like DTR stuff this week, still well priced in our favor. And you know what? Let's start off there because Jessica's got her on-brand play of the week of DTR over 0.5 interceptions. And I believe that we're on the same thing here. I think that's where we should start off, Derek. I know in the quarterback interceptions market with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, why don't we head there?
Yeah, we can do that because we are on the exact same play this week. You can see in the simulator, we got the -135 at Hard Rock. We can pop over to EV Analytics real quick to see the projection. -135 at Hard Rock, but really any of them look good. Last week we paid -160. I'm fine doing that again. -135 is kind of insane. And I really don't understand why the market's been moving down on this. It doesn't make any sense to me. They were less pass heavy last week with DTR than they were with Winston, but this is still not a good quarterback, a team that should still lean on the pass. I think this is one of the games that has weather issues this week. Like, yeah, it is some rain issues, which would help our case here. This one looks good.
Yeah, sports video saying the same thing. Think it's supposed to rain here. Yeah, it's going to be some nasty weather in this game in Cleveland. We'll see how Miami fares in that. But let's start talking about some of the other ones on here. And we've got one of our favorite props to get to in the receptions market here. We have made a lot of money on the fact that Calvin Ridley simply does not catch the football this season.
Yeah, we've taken a lot of Calvin Ridley unders, and we have won most of them. We're going back here under 4.5 at plus 106. Even earlier in the year, we were taking his unders when he was getting like that 30%, alpha level target share. And that has really fallen off over the last several weeks. Like he's been more in like the low 20s the last few weeks. They're run heavy. It's Mason Rudolph as the quarterback now. They're facing the Mac Jones-led Jaguars, so it's not even like they should fall behind necessarily and have to throw all second half. Like they should be able to run as much as they want here, basically. We're getting plus money here. I like Calvin Ridley's under.
It truly is incredible how the Titans-Jaguars game has perennially been the toilet bowl. It has been absolute ass for millennia. Back when Thursday Night Football wasn't the game where we gave everybody a primetime game, they somehow managed to get Titans-Jags 5 times in a season on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And they have somehow found ways. Every time we think we hit rock bottom, these two teams can't possibly get any worse. They find a way. Mac Jones versus Mason Rudolph this week. And the best part about this line with Calvin Ridley is even when he gets the targets, which he's no longer getting, he doesn't catch the football. Like, didn't he have one game with like 6 targets and 0 receptions this year?
Yeah, he's had some games like that for sure.
Yeah. It's, yeah. I mean, obviously, we are all on this one together. I'm looking forward to hopefully watching it cash yet again. All right. Milo is also definitely on. Ridley's definitely on his unders. That is true. That is true. He's up there with Jameson Williams, who we will also be talking about on the show today. All right.
Let's jump to him real quick because we've got – I like his unders at most of the lines that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
But Bet Rivers, if you can bet there or get to a kiosk in the next couple of minutes, they have plus 123 on the under 3.5 where everyone else is like minus 113, minus 117. You see there's still some value here, but especially if you can get this 123 – huge value. Didn't work out for us last week, but this is a Lions team that is basically fully healthy aside from Montgomery, who doesn't really matter for these purposes. Caleb Raymond has, it looks like, a chance to come off the IR this week. Got into full practice yesterday. This game projects as the slowest pace game of the week. Low play volume, outdoors for the Lions, facing one of the most zone-heavy teams in football, which if you listen to Dan Campbell, Jameson Williams, he likes to exploit against man coverages, not against zone. So you want to put your hand in the dirt there. There's a little bit of potential extra edge. This one looks good to me if you can get it at these odds.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we got a little bit torched last week, but Jameson Williams has been incredibly hot and cold. Even if you look at the game splits, which we're not saying is a good way to handicap these, but you can see he has those games where he goes off. And then he has
if he gets 10 catches, like it doesn't matter if this looks like really bad. Some games he's only going to get one or two. The high variance is fine. We care about the distribution, and the distribution I think looks good for us on this one.
Exactly. Apparently already gone at Bet Rivers, but there are some, there are some things to there are some other places that you can still hit some of this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. We've gone a little bit out of order so far on the show, but let's get back into it with Payne Durham. We were going to go to his receiving yards market, but that edge has evaporated. Instead, we're going to be sticking to this receptions market here.
It hasn't evaporated. It's just that FanDuel opened up receptions, and I like it. So if you want to bet yards on him, FanDuel is pretty widely available, but if you don't have FanDuel, his yards look good too. We'll look at that in a second. But FanDuel's got the under 2.5 at plus 120. His yards here. Bet Rivers under 26.5 minus 110 looks really good too. You can see it's dropping. FanDuel's down to 23.5. It's been falling. There's some 25s out there. Kate Otten is out. Sterling Shepard is out. Payne Durham last week with Otten out got a ton of run. I think he ran a route on like 80% of the dropbacks or something like that. Only managed like a 14% target share. He's not great. This is a spot where obviously Tampa Bay should be winning against Carolina and not have to throw a whole lot. If we're getting big plus money on the under 2.5 on a guy like this, I'm totally on board for that. You can see the Blitz is projecting, a hair under 2 here.
Yeah. And because the tight end core is going to be a little bit replenished here. He's not going to be the alpha tight end in the lineup again this week, right?
I mean, he might be the alpha tight end, but that doesn't guarantee him volume. You can play the Mike Evans is going for 1,000 yards game, and they're going to feed Mike Evans. You can play the Jalen McMillan is, they're talking him up now, and he's coming along finally in his rookie year. They throw to the running backs quite a bit. They've hyped up Ryan Miller a lot this week. I'm actually really curious to see if they open up lines on Ryan Miller. I'll probably be looking at some overs on him. But yeah, there's still mouths to feed here. It's still potentially going to be a low passing volume spot. Mm-hmm. And I like this.
Yeah. Milo also saying the only person I know who can bet more than a coffee at Rivers is friends with the CEO. Yeah. I just got my walking papers a couple weeks ago there.
Yeah, no, not expecting everyone to be able to get down on that. But if a line is so far off market like that, I do want to point it out, especially when it coincides with the projection.
Brett Solomon is curious what the low water mark is on that Jameson Williams number.
I think it was like minus 120 or something.
Yeah. It is moving quick. And I'm more saying they have opened up Ryan Miller touchdown. So if you want his touchdown number, you can get that, but good luck.
I'm curious, what do they have that at? I don't think I'll take it, but
yeah. Roar, let us know what that price is. Peaky saying any Bucky. I'm sure we will talk about some Bucky.
Talk about that. There is definitely a way to attack Bucky stuff this week, and it's not the way everyone's doing it. So we'll talk about that after we do our stuff, our prearranged plays.
Yeah. I'm more saying I got 900 now at 700 there. Right. I just bet it elsewhere and throw the extra 5 at Rivers just out of spite. I respect the spite there. I'll try and get a bet down. They'll be like, we'll take this much. And it's like, okay, well, what if I want 50, they're like, we'll take 35. And I'm like, okay, can I get and they'll say, send the extra 15 to approval. And I'm like, okay. And then they deny it. And I'm like, you're denying a $15 bet here. Really?
Yeah,
this is what we're doing at this point.
Limit all right. Pennies.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. We talked about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Let's talk about another interceptions prop, but we're going over again. Cooper Rush. If there's one thing that we know for certain, it is that the Dallas Cowboys are not afraid to throw the ball with Cooper Rush.
No, they're not. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at over half a reception here, minus 145 on Rush at ESPN's our best line, but pretty much anywhere you get it, it's showing good value. Like you said, they're going to be throwing the ball a good amount here. Probably not going to have to throw it as much with Kenny Pickett instead of Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, but they are outdoors as opposed to in a dome, which he's used to playing in. This is another game where it looks like there's potentially some heavy rain in the forecast, which will help us. Don't bet a lot of interception overs, but this is one that's showing really good value, so I'll take it.
I miss the good old days when Jimmy G was always good for that free play at the end of the week. Oh, all right. Let's talk about Bryce Young, but we're going to be sticking with the Blitz. Sticking with EDA's website here because we're going to be talking about Bryce Young carries. It did work out for us last week, right?
No, we lost it last week, but I'm going back to it. It's worked out for us before. It's basically the same kind of angle here. Under 3.5 plus 120. You can see the Blitz is projecting, a quarter of a carry under. We're getting the plus money. Bryce Young, I still don't think has gotten a designed run all year. He's going to have to get there on scrambles. Hopefully that's not the case. Facing a defense, I believe I checked, was not very, I forget the exact number, but not very blitz heavy. So hopefully not going to be fleshing out of the pocket that much. Just 4 carries is a lot for a guy who's not an extremely mobile quarterback and has to get there on scrambles. He'll get there sometimes, but you bet this one enough over the course of the year, I think this is profitable.
Yeah, and I mean, it is Cooper Rush. It's not the worst one in the world to talk about. And while we're here, real quick, I'll answer Andrew Brennan's question. Speaking of that game, the Pittsburgh Philly game. I mean, I'm sorry, not Pittsburgh, but Philly. What about Kenny Pickett INT at -120? That feels pretty okay.
Yeah, we can take a look. Let's see. Not a lot of value, actually a little value on the under potentially, which kind of surprising, but
do you think are they just going to lean on Saquon?
I mean, I think they're going to, they're going to be super run heavy. I think that's probably why we're looking at the under here more than anything else. Cause I know I'm projecting them to be very, very run heavy.
Yeah. Connor also asking, at what point do you start to factor in when QB seem more apt to scramble?
Oh, that's definitely in the projection. I don't want to make it seem like it isn't. The Blitz is looking at how often he scrambles, how often we'd expect him to scramble based on kind of his physical type and his combine scores and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, his scramble rate is definitely in there. He doesn't scramble that much. So yeah, even with the scrambles accounted for, the projection likes the under on Bryce Young.
Yeah. All right. Headed back here. We're going to go to Cooper Rush. Jeez, we are battering Cooper Rush this week under 0.5 touchdown passes.
Yes, we are. Let's look right here. Oh, we got Pickett back up.
He's going to be using this as bulletin board material.
Cooper Rush. Let me zoom this in a little. That helps. So yeah, we're looking at, let me get rid of the interceptions. We're looking at Cooper Rush under half a passing touchdown plus 165 at 365 is our best line now, but plenty of similar lines. They all project well. Similar thing here where they're going outdoors. They're going into the rain. They're facing a team that is probably going to be run heavy and run the clock. He'll have plenty of chances to throw probably, but whether he gets in the end zone or not, going to be harder without CeeDee Lamb now.
Yeah.
And they're giving us good plus money on it.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one, but I mean, we saw no touchdown game last night, and it's not like this Dallas team is good. The Philly defense can really putting a hurting on them. Milo Kaminsky saying, plus Dallas has an elite running back in Ezekiel Elliott they can lean on. Well, welcome from the year 2015. Milo, thank you so much.
Maybe not that, but they do like to use Zeke in the red zone. They like Dowdle a lot. Obviously, they can score, and it cannot be a passing touchdown. That's an out here. So at plus 165, the odds here are good enough where I think this probably projects as like close to 50-50, and I will definitely take it there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Next up, let's go to Aidan O'Connell. We're going to AOC. And he's a guy that the Raiders have let air it out a little bit too.
Yes, he is. We're going to look at pass attempts. So we're going to stay here at EV Analytics. We are looking at Aidan O'Connell. And our best line here is going to be 31.5 minus 125 at Bet365. You can see the Blitz is projecting 38. There's a lot to like about this. First is that this projects as the fastest paced game of the week. Both of these teams play really fast, New Orleans in particular. So just play volume in general should be very high. They're indoors in New Orleans, which again supports passing. Should be a back and forth game. And this is a Raiders team that passes more than people think they do, or more than the market ever really thinks they do. I feel like the Raiders overs have been fantastic this year, especially since they changed offensive coordinators. Under previous coordinator Luke Getsy, they were running the ball 2% more than average. Since they changed over to, I'm blanking on the name, Scott Turner, they've been 8% higher than average, which is like top 5 pass rate in football. You combine a high pass rate with indoors with fast pace. This number is too low. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, and they could really lean on this, especially with the running back injuries that they've had as well.
They have all the injuries.
This is a team that could even be up in this game potentially against the very bad Saints team. and
Could be.
still just pass the football.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was another one of our bad beats this week, by the way, was Jacoby Myers.
Yes.
He finished under a yard. That was brutal.
Like a yard. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a tough one, but we'll be back on that this week for sure. All right. Jordan Love. We've really been loving the quarterbacks today, Derek. Almost entirely quarterback props for us on the board, but Jordan Love under 2.5 carries is the next one you've got.
Yep. We are looking at Jordan Love here under 2.5 carries, minus 120 at 365. Looks like our best line. You can see the Blitz is projecting about 1 for him here. They're going indoors, so should be more pass heavy. Not a guy who scrambles a lot. Close game where the kneel down equity is not going to be as high as it often is for Jordan Love. So those kneels, he's had quite a few of them this year. Can't count on those to get him over this line.
Yeah.
I like this one quite a bit.
Yeah, and this could be a really good game too. Like, as far as we're not gonna get to a kneel down series that, like you mentioned.
Absolutely, yeah, could easily be that.
Yeah, it's a very close one there. Connor Frazier asking, do you double up on units with an edge that big? Now, I'm guessing he wasn't talking about this specific one. He might have been talking about 2 props ago. I'll leave it to you as well. I personally don't. I might. If you do have a larger edge, you can increase your unit size on it. I don't know that I'm really going to double it up. And when it comes to props, I just don't think that you're quantifying your edge out large enough for this. He's talking about the AOC prop there, but I'll leave it to you because I'm about to have a hacking cough and I'm going to go on mute.
Yeah, I'm with you. Generally, we tend to talk about these edges as being more directional than precise. Theoretically, the ones with the bigger edge should have more expected value than the ones with the lesser edge. I just flat bet things. I generally don't put more into the higher edge bets just because there is always uncertainty with props. I feel more confident over the long run that if I'm just kind of flat betting everything, it's going to even out. It's going to be good. Once you start changing your stakes, you introduce potentially more variance. There's also the potential where when the projection is really far off from the market, that it's missing something. And so that big edge is actually not in reality that big because the projection is just missing something. Obviously, I try for the projection not to miss anything, but you never know. So I kind of just keep everything the same size bet.
I think I may be dying. I might need to get some water.
Chad Martin's got a good point here too, if we can throw that up.
Yeah, Chad.
This is a good way to attack it too.
Yeah, he says, I find when there is a large edge, there's typically multiple different correlated props that pop off. And I like flat betting multiple bets of the same, multiple different bets of the same angle there. So for example, when you you've got a guy, hypothetically, you've got big edges on both his receptions and his receiving yards. Maybe that's one way you're attacking it. I'm just pulling out the most basic possible example there.
There's a good example this week. I talked about it on the cover show earlier where the Blitz really likes Atlanta Falcons unders this week for a lot of different reasons. So you can, it'll show value on Michael Penix unders. It'll show value on London, on Mooney, on McLeod, on, I think probably on Bijan receptions unders. Now, obviously they're all going to be correlated. And if Penix has a great game, maybe they all lose, but you can definitely, if you want, instead of just, putting a bunch of units on Penix, you can put one on him, one on London, one on Mooney, one on McLeod, or half a unit on each to kind of, that's even better probably if you're scared of the variance.
Yeah, because then you it's always good to have a diversified portfolio, and then yes, you are putting more of your stake into these higher. You're putting more bets into the same angle and the same edge, but you're able to, like, if maybe somebody goes wrong or somebody breaks a big play or something like that, and you don't necessarily lose everything right then and there.
And it can work the other way. Yeah. Like Chad Martin says, like last night, the Blitz loved all the unders on that game, and they pretty much all came through. So, it's over the long run. If you're betting thousands or tens of thousands of bets over multiple years, multiple seasons, it doesn't matter if they're correlated because it's going to even out. It's just in the short term, you do open yourself up to wider swings if you're betting correlated props.
My friend actually had a parlay that was gonna have no touchdown in it, but
Oh, really?
they were only giving him like 65-1, so he took it out.
That's
Like
rough.
right play. That should have been like 120, 130, 140-1, but that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we have one more here, and we're going back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So we are playing a couple very similar angles on some of these quarterback props this week.
Yes, we are. So similar one to Aidan O'Connell, where the Blitz just really thinks that the market's off here. The market has actually been moving down. I think this opened at 30.5. It's down to 28.5 at some books, which might scare some people. It really doesn't scare me. Prop markets are not that efficient, especially on a guy like this. I think the biggest risk for him not getting there is mostly just that, like, he sucks and they pull him and he doesn't get garbage time, which is definitely possible. But with Jameson Williams banged up, I think that's less likely. If it's who's the guy behind? I'm blanking on who it is behind him. Somebody not very good. The other concern is that they did go more run heavy last week with DTR than they were with Winston. Yeah. But this is still an offense that has shown an extreme proclivity to pass the ball. They should be playing from behind against Miami. They should, Bailey Zappi, that's who it is. They should have to pass the ball here. And I don't think, I'm going to double check. I don't think this team has gone under, I don't think a Cleveland quarterback has gone under this number ever, at least since they changed up the coordinators mid-year. It's as long as he plays the whole game, I'm feeling confident about this one. Last week, even though they went more run heavy, he still went over this by like four or five. What do you get? Like 30, I think like 30, maybe more than that. I think I had like 34 or 35 attempts. So 28.5 is too low.
Yeah. Bogler, of course, wants that Zappi, wants the hook to be quick so that Zappi can come in and play. Jessica also pointing out, ultimately, these pass attempts correlated with picks, right? Like the more you throw, the more chances to be picked off. Exactly.
Yes. There's also kind of, if you take it to the extreme where he throws 2 or 3 picks, then maybe there's kind of that negative correlation where they pull him before he can get to the attempts. But there's definitely some correlation here.
Yeah. All right. We have a bunch of questions in the chat here that we do, of course, want to answer for everybody because we always want to get all of your questions done. But before we do that, let's talk real quick about the recap of the plays that we are looking at here. We have Calvin Ridley under 4.5 receptions plus 106 at Bet Rivers. And this, of course, is the recap of all of the plays that we are liking this week. Payne Durham under 2.5 receptions plus 120 at FanDuel. Dorian Thompson-Robinson over 0.5 interceptions minus 135 at Hard Rock. Cooper Rush over 0.5 interceptions minus 145 at ESPN Bet. Bryce Young under 3.5 carries plus 120 at FanDuel /Bet365. Cooper Rush under 0.5 touchdown passes plus 165 at Bet365. Aidan O'Connell over 31.5 pass attempts minus 125 also at Bet365. Jordan Love under 2.5 carries minus 125 at the 365 and ESPN. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson over 28.5 pass attempts minus 115 at Bet365 and Hard Rock. And so Jameson Williams under 3.5 receptions. This number just came off the market. We're scrapping that one.
Maybe chat can confirm for us. I know a few people said it was off the board. Did it come off the board after we gave it out, or was it just off the board the second you went there? Because that'll make a difference whether we count it.
Yeah, because obviously if it was available, we'll count it. But if it wasn't available at all, well, it's no good to anybody at all. And we're not here in the business of trying to artificially inflate our record. Andrew Sin was off the board as soon as you announced. So yes, we will wipe that one from the record there, since if you guys couldn't get it, well, not fun. What's the motto saying? QB week, lol. All right. We have a whole lot of people that really want to know about the Buccaneers here. Yes. A very good one was, trying to scroll back through here because I believe it was Sports Video. There we go. Sports Videos were saying the Blitz showing edges on a lot of Bucks unders this week, which is scary. Any reason why we're so low on them overall this week?
Yeah. So part of it is that it projects as a slow-paced game. This is a slow team. Carolina can play pretty slow. Part of it, I think, really mostly though, is just that there has been this narrative built up about especially Bucky Irving. We've had a ton of questions in chat about Bucky Irving. Now, I'm going to show you this. Do not bet what I showed, what this says. This is going to tell you to bet the under. I'm not betting Bucky Irving's under, but I'm not betting his over either, which is what everyone and their mother is telling you to do this week. He's facing Carolina. They're a terrible run defense. They're a big favorite. Bucky Irving is really good, and he's going to get extra volume here. Like, all of this is there. The problem is that all basically has to be true for him to go over. And there's always more uncertainty than people want to believe, especially in situations where we've only seen Bucky Williams get like the majority of the carries one time. We saw it last week, and that was it. Before that, it was very much a split between Irving and Rachaad White, and Sean Tucker was mixed in a little bit. He's been absent the last few weeks.
Free Sean Tucker.
But here's the thing. You don't have to bet Bucky Irving's over to take it. Even if you think all that has a high likelihood of happening, betting Bucky Irving's over is not the way to attack it, because that's what everyone's doing. This opened, I think, at like 73.5 at some books, and it's up at 80, 81.5 now at a lot of books. Everyone's betting the over here. If you want to bet that Bucky Irving is going to see a lot of work here, you want to bet this. You want to bet Rachaad White's under. Because obviously if Bucky Irving's getting all the work, Rachaad White is not going to. Unders always have more ways to hit than overs. And there's a lot of reasons to be down on White as well here. So even though, last week we saw Bucky Irving get all the work, Rachaad White got very little. Rachaad White also fumbled the ball, and Todd Bowles kind of, and Liam Cohen, I think, came out and basically said like, hey, we can't be doing that. There's a good chance Rachaad White is in the doghouse here. Like there's a 10% chance that Rachaad White is the running back 3 here, and Sean Tucker operates as the running back 2, and Rachaad White's just out there on third downs and stuff like that.
Yeah, because his pass protection is still good, but they don't want to give him the ball.
Right, exactly. So there are many more ways that Rachaad White goes under than that Bucky Irving goes over. Even though it's basically the same angle, you get extra angles with White, you get more value, you're not doing the thing the public's doing. This is the sharp way to hit the Bucky Irving stuff if you want to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, my friend. All right. What's the motto saying? It was a QB week. It really is, given what we were talking about there. Now let's go back. I'm scrolling back up because we have a whole bunch of comments to get to here. Dang it. I hate when it just moves around on me, because I was looking for one specifically from Larry Mavid here. Do you think it's realistic to expect all the receivers to go over in those cases, like the other game we were talking about with when we were trying to correlate the Falcons, but we were talking about correlating them under, like so in cases where you're going the other way there, it's just yeah,
there will be times where they all go under or they all go over for sure. But you're not necessarily expecting that. It's always a spectrum. Like, it's always, each guy has his own probability. And if the team as a whole does really well, the probability for all the guys goes up. But you're not expecting, okay, well, Michael Penix has a bad game, so all the receivers are definitely going under. Like, you're not assuming that. But you are assuming if they're all each individually showing good expected value, that, on average, more of them are going to win than lose. And over the long run, it's going to be profitable betting that type of stuff in general.
Yeah. Sick Boy says, Jordan Love over yards. I know you generally like attempts completions, DC, but feel like the Vikes D tempts offenses into taking deep shots. And that's kind of what Green Bay wants to do in the passing game anyways.
Yeah. So I know the Blitz loves this game in general. Like, if you're betting game lines, I know it likes the over on this quite a bit. Yeah, there's definitely some value if you want to bet Love's over yards. I don't do a lot of quarterback yards, but he's going into a dome. It should be a fast-paced game. They've been so run-heavy this year, but theoretically they could think about airing it out. And even if they are run-heavy, like the Blitz still thinks he's going to be efficient, thinks he could get there anyway. So yeah, if you want to bet the love over, I don't mind it.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some more questions here. Fielding more audience questions. We already talked about the Bucks there. Here we go. Steven Johnson says Ford over Rush is showing a nice edge. Want to have a nice negative correlation to the DTR passing props.
Yeah, we can take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So his attempts, oh my God, wow, his attempts are really showing some value here. Let's look at his yardage. You're seeing some value there too, but it looks like the attempts, if you're going to hit it, are what you want to do. And again, this is still with Cleveland projected to be on the more pass-leaning side of the spectrum. Not extremely pass-heavy anymore after last week, but it was only one game. We don't want to overreact. It's still projecting them to be pass-leaning. If they do go way more run-heavy because they just don't trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson as much, this looks pretty good for Ford. You know, they hyped him up this week. They said they like what they saw last week. They want to get him the ball. They'll give Pierre Strong a few carries. They didn't give Foreman a whole lot, especially outside of the red zone. Ford's going to be kind of the main back here. And yeah, 11.5's kind of a low line. I don't mind this one at all.
Yeah. I mean, I just went and bet it.
I'm kind of about doing it myself. I'm looking around. I mean, there's other books, 12.5s, 13.5s. This 11.5 looks pretty good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Nick Chubb's foot exploded, right?
Nick Chubb's what exploded? His foot? Oh yeah. Nick Chubb's done.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've got a couple more questions here. Starting with Milo and Derek, both on the same thing, saying little surprised Josh Allen rushing didn't make the cut. You got yards and attempts here that we can talk about.
Sorry, I was responding to a comment in chat.
All good.
What was that question?
Josh Allen rush yards and you know what? Everybody's asking. Sports Videos is now saying thoughts on Josh Allen's under passing yards. Let's just talk about every single Josh Allen play.
Yeah, we can talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen is one guy that I really don't love taking unders on.
I can't imagine why.
I mean, some guys, they're just, I mean, he's playing at this elite MVP level. You're expecting some regression, but you don't know if it's going to come. You know, they're more run heavy than they have been in the past. This projects as a pretty slow paced game. Is this one with weather? I feel like almost every outdoor game has weather this week. Yeah, this one has some rain, potentially a little wind. But it's Josh Allen. I'm just going to pass on it. It's not worth the stress for me.
Yeah.
It's just not.
And God, you just know he's going to torch the Jets.
Yeah, he might.
Although the flip side is the Jets could come out. The Jets could absolutely pull off the upset. Like, I'm not saying this as a Homer Jets fan. I'm saying this as someone who knows that when the Jets are eliminated from the playoffs, they become the greatest show on turf every single season.
Yeah. Well, they do.
Yep. All right. Let's see. What about Josh Allen rushing numbers here if we go to EVA?
I know yesterday FanDuel was hanging an over on his attempts. They pulled it off the board. I don't think anyone else is offering attempts on him right now. Oh, actually they are. Okay. You have to pay a little bit for it, but yeah, you can see the Blitz is projecting. Oh wait, do I have? Yeah, I'm sharing the right screen. You can see the Blitz is projecting about 8.5 rushes here. The line 6.5. You have to pay a little bit for it, but there's definitely a little bit of value on his over if you want to bet this.
Yeah, I
haven't yet. I don't think I'm going to, but if you want to bet something to Josh Allen, something on Josh Allen to do well, I'd bet this before I bet his yards overs.
Yep. All right. What about Jalen Naylor receiving yards? Also worth pointing out the Jets are terrible against the run. Like Josh Allen can absolutely get run in this game. Jalen Naylor, he has been one of our favorites. We've bet on him a lot this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was before Oh, okay.
That's it.
I mean, he doesn't have the role he had earlier in the year,
Yeah.
especially when Addison was out. Like they have Addison, they have Jefferson, Hawkinson's back. Naylor's volume has significantly decreased, but 6.5 yards, like that's probably one catch for him. I don't dislike that.
What's his receptions line at?
They probably don't have a receptions line for him yet. They might have. Oh, they do. Oh, okay, yeah, over half a reception with ridiculous odds.
I mean, the way to play it is clearly the receiving yards market,
Yeah.
but the receptions market is telling me that the odds are wrong on receiving yards.
Yeah. So yeah, this looks kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. I think I might bet that and be sweating out a Jalen Naylor catch for my MVP, Sam Darnold, anyway. All right.
Darnold.
Yes. What about Jaleel McLaughlin?
This is one I know the Blitz likes. I've already bet his attempts and his yards at Scores and Odds and on the cover show earlier. Yeah, the attempts I like the most. Under 6.5, -108 at FanDuel, but they're all pretty similar. You can see the Blitz is projecting 5. You never really know with the Denver backfield, like who's going to get the ball. Like this could be a week where Jaleel McLaughlin gets 15 carries. Like we've had those weeks. More likely than not, he's going to not get those carries. He's going to operate as like the third back in an offense that's potentially going to give carries to as many as 6 different players, like legitimate carries to 6 different players. So Sean Payton loves to mix up the running backs. We've seen all year he's given carries to Javonte, to Estime, to McLaughlin. Bo Nix is going to run the ball a little bit with some design runs. They've been giving Marvin Mims design runs very much not by accident of late. And last week with Jaleel McLaughlin out, they promoted Blake Watson from the practice squad. And they decided they wanted to give him some work too. And then Sean Payton talked about how much he liked what he saw out of Blake Watson. Like there's a chance they keep 4 running backs active, plus Marvin Mims out of the backfield, plus designed runs for Bo Nix. They talked about how much he talked this week about how much he loves Estime and how much he wants to give Estime more work. There's just so many mouths to feed. There's a chance Jaleel goes over, but I'm taking the under here. This is one of my favorite bets of the week.
Clashes pride. I just added a 0 to the McLaughlin under an accident, so let's hope the Blitz is right.
Let's hope so.
We just got done talking about we just got done talking about all that edge and staking. Jalen Naylor says,
and also they're facing Cincinnati here.
Yeah.
I know the spread isn't like massive, but there's a real chance that Cincinnati just blows the doors off them and they have to pass the whole game.
Yeah. That absolutely could happen. And plus, the Cincinnati defense has been a little bit sketch. And I mean, Sean Payton is the new Bill Belichick. He's a running back terrorist when it comes to this usage and trying to figure out what exactly he is going to do. Clash, just for that, I got to ride that with you for sure. But anytime Derek Carty is saying this is one of my favorite bets of the week, probably wise to be on it. Jim Robinson saying Jalen Naylor over 6.5 receiving yards is -120, but longest reception is 6.5 at -105. I mean, there is the little bit of a difference. You need him to get there on the one.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah,
he could get there on
probably
2 catches, but yeah, I probably take the 105 there.
Yeah,
that's a good find.
That feels like something where you're betting on the same thing of just saying, hey, kind of hope that he manages to make it. Like we're hoping he gets a catch, and if he gets a catch, it's going to be for 6.5 yards, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep. Peaky is curious about, is James Conner playing?
I've been doing shows for the last couple hours, so I haven't heard news. Last I heard was that he was looking likely to play.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen any official news on him yet, but I am projecting him in at the moment.
Yeah, Sick Boy saying pure vibes as a Vikings fan is Naylor hasn't had anything downfield recently, so the yards receptions might be closer than you think.
Yeah, I am looking at that. Like he hasn't caught a long one in a few weeks. He's had his longest catches have been like 5 yards. So So maybe they're using him a little differently than they were earlier in the year. I want to take a closer look, but I still think it's solid.
Yeah. How about, okay, we got a couple ones here, both from sports videos. James Conner under 24.5 receiving yards.
I know this one's showing value. I was tempted to hit it. I haven't yet. So you can see theoretically there's value here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not projecting James Conner for a full workload. So I think this is kind of a fragile projection. Like if he's just like good to go and he goes in and he can do his normal thing, this loses value. Especially with DeMercado out. Conner did pick up a little bit more of a role in the passing game. We don't know what that's going to look like now that they have Michael Carter on the roster, who's definitely a guy who can catch passes. Maybe Conner just goes back to kind of like his normal role where maybe he's going to average 18, 19. I don't know. There's enough uncertainty here where I just didn't bet this one, but the under does show value if you think Conner might be limited at all.
Yeah. Javonte Williams also over 5.5 carries at plus 115 on DraftKings. Feels solid. I mean, somebody's got to get some running back work with them, but it is such a question of, okay, who is it going to be here?
Yeah, and he's gotten so little of late. Like he's really like he's almost could be the third running back here. I'd be much more willing to take unders on Sean Payton running backs than on overs.
Remember the days? Who were the running backs for the Broncos just a few years ago? Philip Lindsay. Who
else was there?
Yeah, who was the other guy who was like supposed to be the next big thing, and then Philip Lindsay took over the backfield, and then he was terrible too.
Yes, yeah, they've gone through some guys. I'm blanking on who it was. Someone will remember.
Is it Royce Williams?
Royce Freeman.
Royce Freeman. That's it. Yep. Oh man, what a time for them. Let's see here. We do have a couple more questions. Will Angelis was curious about Jordan Akins under 23.5 yards. Doesn't appear that that one's going to be.
Yeah, I do want to touch on this one. If you're showing value here, more than 7% value, refresh your screen.
Yeah.
Originally, the Blitz was projecting Njoku to play. They announced that he's out this week. Tillman is out this week. So if you're still using the projection with Njoku playing and comparing it to the line, which knows that he's out, you're going to show big value. Don't bet that. Once the projection gets updated, you're showing, there's no value here.
Yeah, and Sick Boy was correct. It was Royce Freeman. Although what's the
they did have the corpse of Melvin Gordon that one year.
They did have the corpse of Melvin Gordon. God, what doesn't he still hold like some insane touchdown record too? I
think he does. I don't know what it is, but
he was so good, and then his knee was just like, I don't have cartilage anymore.
Yeah, that is the way it works with running backs a lot of times.
Yep. All right. Sports Video says, with AR-15 truly questionable, is it smart to bet downs overs in the hope that Flacco plays and you're still alive, even if it's Richardson?
This is a good question. So I was hoping to see closer to like no value here as opposed to some value on the under. I mean, Richardson didn't practice yesterday, didn't practice today. Seems at this point, I'm still projecting Richardson in, but really it's just because it's a pain in the neck to switch it when we're probably going to get news anytime, like any minute now. You could. I mean, the projection's definitely going to go up if it's Flacco. They're, better quarterback, more pass heavy. The spot is not great outdoors and probably playing from ahead against the Giants, but I'm probably not risking it yet. But if you want to take a chance, it could work in your favor.
All right. Well, Derek, I believe we've gotten through every question here. Jessica Brand has also pointed out real quick that J.K. Dobbins is in for week 17 here. She says great chance to get in on unders elsewhere for the LA Chargers backfield, assuming that those lines haven't already moved, which they probably have at this point. But the other thing to watch out for here, no Gus Edwards, no Gus Bus.
Right.
So be careful with those Kimani Vidal unders.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Similar question, but Jonathan Taylor receptions.
Let's take a look at that. I mean, right now it's not showing any value. Again, it's really going to be dependent on who starts at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, gonna be an interesting one, worth watching. If you want to take a shot on it, I mean, I could see them playing Joe Flacco this week for sure.
I think at this point it seems more likely to be Flacco.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Every time I see the bench warmers play in my head. Great movie there, man. Great movie. All
Great's
right.
a strong word, but it's a movie.
It doesn't quite rival Hot Tub Time Machine on the level of comedies, but it's a good one. It's up there. Melvin broke LT's college yards in a game record and then got beat by P. Ryan a week later. Shout out to Samaje P. Ryan, printed me so much money this week. All right. We have, this isn't even a question, but hey, Derek, just woke up from Sydney, Australia. Shout out to your hard work so far. 1,797 bets. $13,432 profit and a $327,000 turnover for 4.1% ROI. Consistency is key and not worried about the variance of one game. I mean, that is absolutely a fact. Hey, great to see.
I love to hear that. And you see his sample size is 1,800 bets. Like he's placing a lot of bets. So when you're placing that many bets, you really don't need to care about the variance of one game or the correlation. There's many ways to use the system. Not everyone has to bet 18,000 bets or 1,800 bets, but that's definitely one way to do it. And it definitely helps even out the variance.
Yeah. Also, shout out, Michael, to your local celebrity over there. Not really local, but across the way over in Tasmania, Neil Lucille. All right. Boglor says, I've been telling the chat for weeks about our Lord and Savior Drake May. In multiple weeks, he has cooked me in the completions yards market. Is the Blitz showing any value on Drake?
We can take a look. I hit his rushing attempts over earlier. Mm-hmm. I have not seen a lot of his passing stuff popping up.
And while you do that, I'm more says Hurts is out. How does that change things? We all kind of knew that already. So
yeah, the Blitz is already projecting Kenny Pickett in as the quarterback.
Yeah.
We're going to see probably a heavy dose of the run, a heavy dose of Saquon. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I'm hitting overs by any means, but I would guess we're not really showing. Yeah, wow. The Blitz is I mean, it's a high line.
Showing and it's a slight under on 113.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Larry also says, I saw you recap Jameson Williams' receptions. What about his yardage? We can take a look at his yardage real quick.
Yeah, I don't love betting yardage on guys like this because he can literally get there on one play. It doesn't matter what the matchup is. It doesn't matter anything. There is some value on the under here. I'm probably going to wait out the receptions and hope we get a book, maybe 365 opens at plus 110 or something.
That Bet Rivers number might be back.
Oh, anyone want to check? I mean, it's not X'd out.
Someone check on it.
I don't like it quite as much if you have to do minus 120, minus 115. But if you're getting plus money on it, I do like it. The yards, again, show value. I'm not jumping on it just yet.
Yeah. All right. Final question here from Chad Martin. Any thoughts on Elijah Moore receptions over? It is looking real nice. Yet another Jets second round draft pick, second round wide receiver that didn't pan out.
Yeah. I was tempted to throw this one in as an audible. I just adjusted the projection like 5 minutes before the show. So I want to make sure everything looks right, but I think it should. We have Njoku out. We have Cedric Tillman out. Again, there's uncertainty here with how much Cleveland's going to throw. We talked about it with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but theoretically, this should still be a team that has to pass the ball a bunch. Elijah Moore, theoretically, is the number 2 option in this offense now, and his line is 2.5 receptions for a team that you saw before. We have Dorian Thompson-Robinson project to throw the ball like 35 times or something. So you would think his second option should be able to get over 2.5 receptions.
I might.
What do you have a take here?
Something that I occasionally do, and I don't know if it's really the best idea, but when I get some props, when you're getting down to this level, when you're getting down to the -160s, -180s, that sort of thing on some of these reception markets where you feel like on some of these markets where you feel like you have a pretty good edge there, I'll parlay a couple of these together. Like
Okay.
I'm taking some of the plus, like I'm taking, obviously we're playing plus EV stuff, and I'm just trying to parlay a couple of them so that maybe you're not laying so much juice entirely on that one prop. I know that's not quite how it works, but sometimes I'll be a little frisky and I'll do that on one. It's worked out. I haven't missed on one this season. Knock on wood. I've only done it a couple times, but it's been good.
Definitely need to do it. Milo says, we need parlays for the health of accounts for sure. So if you want to do that, go right ahead. Chad Martin also saying the way I kind of was thinking of it. Another way to do it is just look at the alts. Like you can see that we're projecting, a good amount over here. So if you can get over 3.5 or 4+, same thing at, plus 160, something like that, that might even be a better approach than taking the 2.5. Yeah.
All right, and then Kamara Carr officially out. Jesus Christ, Saints! They have nobody left.
Later, we're gonna check this out. We're gonna see what.
All right, we're gonna check that out, and then we are gonna have to head out because Set the Screen is gonna be going live in just a couple minutes, and they are probably wondering where the heck I am right now.
Oh, okay. All right, so receptions for will be over 3.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's saying, hold on. Do I have that right? Over 3.5?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're getting plus 160, then yeah. I want.
I would take that for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us. Sports Video saying it was 2.5 for more. Yeah, but we were looking at his alt line there.
We're looking at the alt line. So if you're going to get 3.5, someone said it's out there at like plus 160. You're getting really good value on that.
Yep. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here with us. Set the Screen is going to start up in just a few minutes if you are an NBA member here at Unabated. But we appreciate you guys being here with us. We appreciate you asking all the questions, being with us throughout the entire year. We still have 2 great weeks to go, and we will, of course, be doing the playoffs as well. But for now, we'll see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful new year, a very profitable week of betting here, and we can get 2025 started off right. Same time, same place next week. We'll be right back. And don't forget, we're going to have the Tuesday show before New Year's for cover 2. So we'll be talking college football props then. All right. That's going to end my spiel for programming for the week. Set the Screen is going to start up in a few minutes. See you guys real soon. And let's cash some tickets.